Hello YouTube, Damo_23 here, and welcome back to another episode here on the YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to discuss the game week that was, game week number 17. We're also going to have a bit of a chat about my team for game week 18, and more importantly, we're going to give you guys what I believe is the best free hit team in game week 18, and if you should free hit or if you shouldn't. With that being said, if you do enjoy the FPL content, give it a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and let me know down below if you're using your free hit chip. With that being said, if you look at the team, we're currently on 60 points, and unfortunately, because of everything that's been going on this week with FPL, I don't really have what the appropriate game week rank is at the moment. It's still showing me my points from before. If we go to game week history, it still says that I'm on 66, which would be 69 with the 3 points to Solanke if you got the bonus. Obviously, I am not going to sit here and complain that we had a game week rank of 500 in the world and looking like being back inside the top 40, because life is more important than FPL at times. As you can see here, decisions been made about the Luton and Bournemouth game. Obviously, big shout out to Tom Lockyer and his family, and hope he does well and his recovery is swift. But they've made a decision finally after a few days of waiting for the Premier League to make that decision that the game is going to be replayed. They're going to take the points away, and Arch is going to come off my bench for a solid 2 points. It is what it is. I wish we could obviously turn around and go, oh, this is fantastic, this is a green arrow, and this is back in time the top 40k, because he made a very good decision to sell Haaland for Solanke. Unfortunately, it's not how it goes sometimes, and that is FPL. It's out of your control. What it does mean is I definitely have a double game week player in Solanke already in my team, and that double game week player plays against Luton. I'm not going to be too concerned with that. Yes, it means there's more people that will probably go and buy Solanke later down the track. It might even be a case that people might sell Solanke, but what it does mean, it opens up that I could maybe go get another Bournemouth asset as well down the track, where people might just only have the one. So that's kind of it. Now, let's discuss my team moving into game week 18, and I've already made one change, and that was Darwin out for Watkins. 2 reasons why I've done this so early. Liverpool probably playing in the Carabao Cup. As I speak right now, I'm trying to keep tabs on it on my phone. But I don't care if Darwin starts or not. He did start. So it means he's more than likely to get dropped about against Arsenal. Being a Liverpool fan, I could nearly have predicted that for you. B, obviously, after Man United, a little bit salty. Darwin should be putting the ball into an open net instead of complaining. But is what it is. And C, the reason why I've done this move so early is Watkins' price has already gone up once, and I bought him yesterday morning before it went up. The only good thing about living in Australia is, for FPL, is the price rises take effect at like 11 a.m. our time, so you can make decisions real late in the morning. You can have a coffee, think about it, drive to work, think about it, get to work, think about it. Okay, I'm going to do it or not. There's no other issues in my team apart from Gordon, and to be fair, I don't think, Gordon played, so I expect him to play again. If Gordon isn't going to play, I've got options on the bench, and I'll probably move Taylor to be the first sub here as well, because I just think that Taylor is more than likely going to play and have a strong chance of a clean sheet. I know Fulham have been scoring, but it is what it is. With that being said, the rest of the team looks very good. And this is what I want to discuss. Dubravka against Luton, fantastic. Pedro Porro against Everton, fantastic. Colwell against Wolves, fantastic. Trippier against Luton, fantastic. Look, Salah has a good record against Arsenal. Saka's been, ticking over. Should have had an assist last week too. Can't let these things worry you in FPL. With that being said, those are 2 good assets longer term, even though Salah's someone I'm planning on selling shortly, as you guys would know if you watched last video. Palmer was exceptional last game week, and Son is Son. Could be captainable, he's not. And it means I've got probably the best front 2 for the week, which is Watkins and Solanke. If you have a look at that team there, and then have a look at the points for the team before, it's a very similar team outside of Darwin. And Tsimikas out for Trippier, who's now come back from suspension. Have a look at the points across the board. Salah, yes, blanked, but we did play well, and on a different day, Salah's got some returns. Saka should have had an assist, and Solanke should have had points. You're looking at that on a different day. That is a big green arrow, and we're very happy. And if you have a look at that team, it's not too dissimilar. The bench is relatively, got depth. So Taylor, Tsimikas, Archer. I'm only planning on making the 1 transfer. So even if Gordon doesn't play or gets flagged and is out, I'm just going to play Taylor and not make a second transfer. The only way there would be a second transfer is Dubravka all of a sudden came up, being that he was out with like COVID or something like this. And then I would be forced to take a hit, because don't think Areola's going to be playing. That's the only reason why I'll take a hit this week. Obviously, the plan in game week 19 is to, of course, roll. For those that don't know, I am planning on rolling in 19 because in 20 with 2 free transfers, it's going to be Haaland out, and it'll be no, there we go. Haaland out, and I might take the punt on Sterling, and not Haaland out. Sorry, Salah out, Haaland in, which means 2 moves and the move to get a midfielder in. I'm thinking Sterling for Luton and Fulham, but this also depends on how Chelsea look and if he's, it's game week 20, so shouldn't be suspended. If he gets a yellow card in 19, I do believe it then goes into 20, which means I wouldn't play him. Then there's other options, of course. I could go back to Diaby, I could go to Bowen, I could go to a few other options. I could maybe go to a second Arsenal attacker, even though my plan would be going to Saliba, etc. Which in this team here I would take a hit to do, which I think, sometimes hits are viable to set you up for the longer term, and a hit here could be viable. Now, let me go into what I believe is my best, free hit team. Gets 100% team rating, game week rating of 96. I'm going to say this right now. Do you really need a free hit in this game week? Now, a lot of people had it hallmarked 6 weeks ago. Oh, I'm free hitting in game week 18 because I'm going to have Haaland and I'm going to have Mbeumo and I'm going to hold Alvarez and I might try and pick up a Phil Foden beforehand, for 17. And then when they all go away, I've got people that are issues. So I'm going to have to, free hit them out, that sort of thing. Haaland's injured, so a lot of people sold him last game week. And Mbeumo's been injured for a while, so he's not playing, so a lot of people sold him. Alvarez has tested a lot of people's patience, that a lot of people that I know that had Alvarez have sold him over the last couple of weeks. What I'm getting at is, unless I believe you have less than 9 playing players and don't want to use 2 transfers to get back to 11 playing players, and you want to keep them long-term for 19, which, to be fair, if you're saying that you're going to do it just to keep Haaland for 19, there's a world where he doesn't even be back by game week 19 because, stress, fractures / stress injuries to the body, especially the foot because you're always on your feet, they take the longest to heal. And they take, some people it's quick, some people it's long. Haaland has a history of injuries. It could be a bit longer than people think. With this being said, I personally don't think free hitting is the appropriate thing to do this game week. I'm a big, big, big believer in the free hit being used in the blank game weeks around game week 32 where the FA Cup quarterfinals are, because usually you get a lot of Premier League teams playing against Premier League teams in the FA Cup in that round. Unless a couple championship teams make it through, you can have something up to 6-8 teams blanking. And that could be huge for FPL. And that's a week where people have used their free hit and all of a sudden taking hits to field 11 and, maybe just leaving their teams as it is, and it is what it is with 6 playing players. That's a week we can make up a lot of rank, picking up a good FPL team with a free hit in those later game weeks. It also is very good that if you keep your free hit and even through 32 in that big blank, you've got a lot of good players, so you don't need to do it. It's something that you could do in 37, 38 to chase rank. It's something that you can do to, in 28 to then dead end to a 29 wild card. So I like the free hit at a later stage. So my advice here would not be to use the free hit and look to use it at a later stage, but if your team is decimated for whatever reason that you have so many Bournemouth and Man City players still at the moment, then obviously the free hit is for you. Now, if I was to free hit, this is the team that I would have. I will say this, if you've got most of these players in your team, then I think you're pretty happy anyway. So I would actually go for Martinez over Dubravka, but either or. I just think there's more of a likely clean sheet probability for Aston Villa here at home. And with that being said, Trippier, Porro, and Pau Torres comes in. I'm very happy with having my back three of Trippier, Porro, and Cowell, but I think Pau Torres is the standout defender to be bringing in this week if you're looking for a defender. That's if he's past fit, so do wait for some fitness news. If not, I think Conce is also just as good. I think in this game week here, I know that FPL was saying that you should, or fantasy says you should captain Son against Everton. I would be captaining Watkins, but it is what it is. In that midfield, Son, Salah, only because of the potential there. I actually would have been brave in this free hit and go, I think Saka, Arsenal don't score too many goals. So I think Saka out to allow for Bowen to come in, Kulusevski to come in, and Palmer to stay in after a 14-pointer is huge because, Bowen against United are pretty poor. I know they kept the clean sheet against Liverpool. You saw how open they were. There's one or two ways that game goes. It's a blank for Bowen, or Bowen gets a couple of returns and United, do what they did against Bournemouth, for instance, and fall apart. I think Kulusevski in the form he's been, especially with the injury to Maddison, has been very creative. So I think Son and Kulusevski in the same team's fine. And as you can see here, that means I've got 3 3 options from Aston Villa and 3 options from Spurs, and that's because I think those are the 2 best fixtures for the teams there as well. Also think having assets for Trippier is great, but the only issue with Trippier there is Gordon is flagged, so I may as well go for Bowen as well. And for Trippier as well up front, Isak is potentially out. Wilson, you never know, he's going to play a full 90 or even a full 60. So I'm not really looking at a striker. I think if you're really wanting to get in a defender, I've got Burn on the bench. And what you could do is get Pau Torres and Burn and then realise if Pau Torres does not play at all, Burn's your first sub and he comes in and does the job. Obviously up front, Solanke and Watkins, because I believe they're the best 2, and I would captain Watkins this game week. Dubravka, Tsimikas makes the rest of the team, mainly because Tsimikas is already in my team and money's not a issue if you don't have Haaland, and B, Dubravka's there. Adaptations to this is leaving Saka in and going Son, Salah and Saka, which I don't think if people want a free hit, I think that's perfectly fine too. I just don't like backing against 2 teams scoring against each other in the same game week personally when there's better options out there. I think the other thing you can do is leave Gordon in this team. I'm denied about Bowen or Gordon. If Gordon started last week, I expect him to start this week. Just if you're on a free hit, you might as well take a player that you know is going to play in Bowen, Kulusevski or Palmer. And then lastly, if you really wanted to be brave, you could go for a Livramento at the back as well, who's been pretty aggressive. And if he's going to play against Luton, not a bad option too. With that all being said, guys, that's going to be the end of the episode. Give it a like, just subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you for checking out another video. I know it's a slight red arrow, but we know it could have been a nice green arrow of about 10,000 places. It is what it is. Hopefully, it's going to be a good week this week with a few people taking some hits. And hopefully, in 19, we can get another green arrow roll and look to get Haaland back and move Salah on. Catch you guys later.